Hello everyone, Doris Victoria here. Welcome to your personal empowerment channel where you get hints and tips and daily inspiration for your spiritual questions. And I want to thank one of my subscribers, one of my listeners. Thank you so much for your amazing question. Is the higher self of narcissists or toxic people toxic as well? What a great question. And at the same time, I want to invite you, please invite all your friends and family to subscribe to my channel, because my goal is to do lives on YouTube where you can ask your spiritual questions immediately and you will get an answer immediately. So whatever it is that you have in your mind, you can ask it during those lives. But for those lives, we need to have a certain number of subscribers. So please invite everyone you know that might be interested in what I am sharing here in my channel. And we can do this in the future. So for today, is the higher self of toxic people or narcissists toxic as well? Here's what I want to share with you. And this is from my spiritual understanding, from everything I know. Every soul that is coming to this planet is coming in pure. It is coming in as beautiful light, as beautiful, pure, innocent kind of source energy. What happens then is that those souls are choosing a certain environment to grow up. So you choose your parents, you choose the country, you choose your color, you choose your nationality, your religion, everything. The soul, before the soul incarnates on this planet, is very well aware of all the experiences that she needs in order to expand consciousness. So the answer, short, is no. The higher self of narcissists or people that have been raised in a way to be kind of like, to get stuck in their egos, in their false personality, and I'm going to talk more about this later, the higher self of those people is still pure. They're still light. They're still source energy. They're still loved the same way as good people here on earth. And sometimes good people do bad things. So I myself have had experience with female as well as male narcissists in my life. And this is very, very common because my former attachment style was anxious. I had a mother that was not at all emotionally engaged. In fact, she left me alone whenever I needed most the support, the emotional support. So I kind of learned in very early age to be my own mother and to kind of pamper myself and to be there for myself and to hold myself, to actually give myself everything that I would have needed from my physical mother. But she couldn't be there for me because she is still disconnected from her emotions. So you cannot expect something from other people if they are unable to give that very thing to themselves. If whatever a person is not able to give to themselves, they're not going to be able to give it to you. So anxious attached people are very, how can I say, it is often the case that they lack boundaries. And so this, of course, is the perfect prey for toxic people or for narcissists, because narcissists are, it's all about themselves. I mean, this is what the name says. And narcissist and narciss is that flower, and it's coming from the mythology in a way. It is the most beautiful. I am the most beautiful. I am the most important one. So with narcissists, you often have this kind of bipolar personality. They're either in grandeur, what we call grandeur, oh, I am the best. I am way more important than everyone else here on earth. I can do anything. I'm better than this one. I'm better than this one, Or they can be in victimhood. We in psychology, we also call that either the parental self or the child. In psychology, we have 3 stages of personality. We have the child, we have the adult, and the parent. So for narcissists or toxic people, they are often only in the parent where they're authoritarian towards everyone else. They're trying to control their environment. Everything needs to be in a certain way so that they feel good, including yourself, if you are with one of those. Or they're in victimhood, so they're blaming everyone else for their misery. And especially you as well. You will always be responsible for whatever goes wrong in the life of a narcissist or a toxic person. Because as the name says, a toxic person has a problem for every solution, right? So, however, back to that question, no, their higher self is still pure love. Their higher self is pure source energy. Those people often have been raised in families that either they have been suppressed, they have been opposed, nothing that they did was ever good enough. That was the case in one of the people that I pretty well know in my life. I am no longer in contact with this person because our path is separated. Of course, if you start to set boundaries, if you grow out of your anxious attachment style, your ancient anxious attachment style, then the narcissist no longer wants to be with you because you are now an authoritative person. Authoritative means you are sovereign. You make your boundaries, you know what you want, you know what you need, you take responsibility for your own mistakes, for your own inner growth, but you do not let others play games with you anymore. So then, of course, the paths will separate, and that is normal. And that's actually a good thing because it's showing you that you have done the inner work. So that's the other thing though. If you're still together with a narcissist or a toxic person and you do the inner work and you change yourself, that's when paths will split most often. So again, back to narcissists and toxic people. Oftentimes they have been raised in a way that nothing they did was ever good enough. Maybe they were the only son or daughter in the family and everything has been done for them. Everyone just did always everything. Sometimes it can also be the child of, let's say, a single parent who now, because the other figure, the other parental figure is missing, is trying to do everything for the child and is not setting boundaries in a way to tell the child, look, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, but this I'm not capable right now. And it has nothing to do with you. It is just, I have to take care of myself now. I am tired and I propose to you that we do this another day. So if a child is being raised with this kind of boundaries, responsibility of, let's say, an emotional mature figure, that child will not become a narcissist or a toxic person because it knows that every one of us has their own needs and those needs need to be taken care of. And most often, we are the one that are being invited to take care of our needs because if we cannot take care of our needs, who else is going to be able to take care of our needs if you don't take care of your own needs first? So narcissists and toxic people, they often have had very difficult childhoods. I have had a client in my, I've had a client who, for example, he grew up in a German family and for everything he was beaten. And his dad was an alcoholic and he was beaten for everything. He was abused for everything. He was always responsible for anything that went wrong in the family. Unfortunately, there are still a lot of children growing up like this, that the parents, in a way, because the parents are emotionally immature and we should be emotionally mature first before we choose to have children. Because if we cannot take care of our emotions, who will? And every child is an emotional being. So parents out there or people who are planning children, please make sure that you heal yourself first. And a healed person is not taking anything personal anymore because a healed person is loving themselves as much as she is or he is loving others. A healed person will not downgrade any positive word with sarcasm. A healed person will not project their own frustration upon something or someone else that seems to be weaker than them. And often these are children. And a healed person is always open to receive. When somebody is telling you, oh, you look amazing today, many of us are not allowing, if we're not loving ourselves yet, we're not allowing those compliments to get into our body. We are kind of like rejecting them. We're kind of like, oh, but you look yourself great or something, you know? This is a typical sign that somebody has not done the inner work, that somebody is not in love with themselves as much as we need to be in love with ourselves. So to live a healthy life on all levels. And when I say in love with yourself, a narcissist is only in love with himself or herself. Healed people are in love with themselves and with everyone around them, including children, animals, plants, trees, because they no longer see anything as weaker or smaller than they are. For a narcissist, unfortunately, this is the case. They're always trying to get gratification from the outside world. When it comes to sex, a narcissist is always looking for their own gratification. They don't care about the feelings of the other person. You might often be left alone if you're together with a narcissist. So if you have this in your life, say goodbye for your own sake. You know, take care of your own needs and heal yourself, especially for anxiously attached people. Start creating the wish to set boundaries. Set healthy boundaries. No, all the way until here and no further. Boundaries are so important. And they will not please a narcissist or a toxic person, because what they are used is to kind of, you know, they're sucking your blood like a vampire, but they're not doing this because their higher self is toxic. They are doing this because the way they have been raised, energy gets stuck in our physical body. And if we do not do the inner work, then this energy that gets stuck in our body cannot heal. And oftentimes in our lives, when we are moving through hard situation, to, you know, really big challenges in our lives, we forget to breathe. And breath, dear ones, is the beginning and the end of a lifetime. The breath is the first thing that we do and the last thing we do. So whenever you are going through difficult challenges in your life, breathe. This is not happening when we were children and when we have been left alone or we have suffered and the parental figures were not there for us. And this is also the case with narcissists. It is not only the case for anxiously attached people, but also for avoidant attached people. And narcissist and toxic people can often be, toxic people can be anxiously and avoidantly attached. Anxiously means that you're clinging to the other person because you have no sense of self. You see your own being through the other person. You need the other person in order to be someone, in order for you to have a feeling of existence. This is how much you have been neglected as a child. But all of this, the good news is that all of this is healable. And this is exactly why I coach. This is exactly what I do with my clients, because I have healed myself from emotional abuse that you cannot imagine. I have become whole again, to a point where I realize why I chose exactly that environment in which I grew up. And this is the reason that today I can see those people that hurt me most as my biggest teachers. And this is what we often don't want to see. And this is what narcissists and toxic people don't want to see. That those people who were hurting them, they will probably hold a grudge between those people or against those people for the rest of their lives. Because for many of us, we always have a choice. We can choose to go back into those emotions. And if you want to know how to heal your kind of like stuck emotions are often when we had trauma. That's when energy gets stuck. That's when emotions cannot flow because we're not breathing, and so they're getting stuck in our cellular structure somewhere. But we can heal that. And the way we heal it is we're breathing through these old emotions. We are not neglecting them. You know, when we feel triggered by someone or by something that You know, when somebody is saying something to us and we feel triggered, this is always a sign that you still have inner work to do, that you still somewhere have trauma or blocked energy stuck that needs to be looked at by you. Nobody else can take care of you. So if you have been to therapists, for example, and they couldn't help you, choose your coaches or your therapists wisely. Choose those that have experience. Don't only choose the studied one. Don't only choose the studied one. I mean, when I was in school already, I never wanted to learn from those who had a lot of mental knowledge. I wanted to learn from those who had understood things and who had mastered things in their own lives. So, for example, when I studied psychology in the US, it was kind of ridiculous for me. This is why I didn't go all the way to the end, because my own teachers, my own professors were still not healed. They might have studied, they might have had their PhD, but what can you learn from someone who hasn't understood themselves how to be a happy person? And happiness is our birthright. So if you still blame the outside world for your misery, in my eyes, you're not a healed person. A healed person or a healing person, somebody who is willing to do the inner work, is always looking into their inner world first. And there's a lot to discover if we go that path of discovery. So this is what I want to share with you today. Please feel free to ask more precise questions if you are interested in that. I'm happy to share my wisdom with you. But so much for today. Thank you so much for being here again. Please invite everyone that you know to my channel. Help me to have a certain number of subscribers so that we can do lives where you can ask your questions and I can answer them immediately. How much fun that would be. Okay, and if you need a coach on your side, somebody who can help you to heal, please go to my website. You will find my website in the description below this video. Write me an email and we'll be in touch. All the best to you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. And again, feel free to ask whatever it is that is on your heart. Lots of love, dear ones. Bye for today.